What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Listen, I'm gonna start this video out. I'm gonna tell you guys something. I am swamped right now. My right-hand guy, Bryce, is at the beach this week, and he like never takes off work. So it's me by myself with my crew, the rest of my crew at the warehouse. Daniel, my guy filming me, he's swamped right now. But here's the deal, and I wanna start this video saying this. I made a commitment, Daniel made a commitment to me to do content. We're doing the fucking content because that's what we do. So I really don't have time to film, but at the end of the day, I'm filming because I want to, and I would feel bad if I didn't. So we're going to my buddy's gym right now. It's called Complete Fitness. The funny thing about this gym, it's in my hometown. Brian is a good friend of mine, the gym owner, and I really want this video to be about, of course, his gym, but I want this video to be about two gym owners in the same town working and networking together. I think is super important that it can happen, and you should befriend your neighbor. Brian was a member of my gym before Complete ever started. So watch the video. We're on the way right now, and see you in a minute. I'm gonna tell people a little about me. This is Cosmic Gate, their new set. I'm a huge EDM fan, so I haven't let a lot of people that know me know. Some of the big bodybuilders around the world know what I like. And so Cosmic Gate, Armin van Buren, Above and Beyond, we're big trance fans. So me and my wife, we travel sometimes and go see big concerts all around the world. So that's something about me that probably a lot of people don't know.
What up, big dog?
What's up, brother?
All good.
Good seeing you, man.
Same here, same here, same here.
This is my homeboy, Brian, Burlington, North Carolina. Brian, the biggest women's gym, or one of the biggest?
Yes, in the country.
30,000 square feet. What year did you start?
Wow. About 12 years ago, roughly. 12 years ago, started it, scared as shit.
Brian's a member of my gym. Brian approaches me and says, hey, I'm doing this boot camp thing. I want you to come see my spot. I'm like, okay, cool. And I walk over there, and there's cones in the floor, or I didn't say walk over, I drive over.
Yes.
And there's cones in the floor, and he says, I need to show you some gym equipment. And he's got a back room, and there's one cable crossover.
Some bullshit.
Piece of shit cable crossover. And I'm like, oh, Brian, you don't have much here, but I'm willing to help you. And so literally it started like that.
Really?
One piece at a time, a few spin bikes at a time. And honestly, I'm telling everybody this, Brian built something I never thought probably could have even happened with an all women's gym. The thing kept growing and growing and growing to what you see today. But we're gonna show the gym, but I really want this video to be around the trials and tribulations of Brian, because this has not been an easy road, guys. This has been a lot of bumps in the road, a lot of failure and success, and a lot of heartache for this man.
Yes.
So I'm hoping people watch this video and really realize what it took to do this, and honestly, the amount of money that it took to do this. We're gonna walk around for a little bit and show off the gym first, then we'll sit down and we'll bullshit and tell a bunch of stories.
So the way I have it set up is the cardio, all the cardio's here. And all this stuff, every bit of it, super fitness used equipment.
This has all been a 10 plus year process of Brian constantly upgrading and constantly, I mean, I don't even know how many different sets of treadmills we've put in here.
6.
Yeah.
Easy.
I mean,
6.
constantly upgrading 2 ellipticals at a time. These treadmills, for instance, were like new when we got them.
Yes.
And Brian walked in, I don't even know if you were necessarily needing treadmills, and Brian's like, I gotta have treadmills. Brian is very particular. If you see this place, how clean it is.
Color.
Killer colors, gets his upholstery done, very similar to me. And so a lot of people's gonna see this gym and they're going to be amazed by it. But I do want people to realize this has literally been a process of over and over upgrading.
Like you mentioned, the cardio, I know we've been through 6 different sets of this. Easy been through 6 different sets of this. And this started out with getting, what, $300 treadmills at one point?
It's funny because I used to have several warehouses, and in the very first Super Fitness story, I mentioned this man, and I mentioned that one of my storage facilities was literally next to this gym. When he was over there, you wasn't even in here yet.
I was across the street.
Yes.
Yep.
Brian, come to my old warehouse where Daniel, me and you went. I had these spin bikes, and I think I sold them to you, Brian, $250 a piece.
Yes.
I wasn't even
20 of them.
I don't even know if I made money on those spin bikes, but Brian told me, he was like, hey, I'm willing to put in the work if they need part. They were fine. They were just old.
They were.
But that's how he started. Brian probably become one of the biggest spin class people locally over the past 10 plus years. So it's kind of crazy to see.
So this is one of the classrooms. We get about a good 25, 30 people up in here comfortably.
Comfortably.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So over here we have our free weight area. I wanted it separated. I take a lot of my look from him as far as the way he has it separated. And I like this area over here. So this is all free weights down here. And I have all my selector weight on that side. Mm-hmm. So free weight plates all on this side. Same thing with this. I probably started out with 7, maybe 7 pieces.
Oh,
this has been 12 years of buying a piece, selling it back to him, buying 5 and 6 more pieces. It's been, the entire process has been just like that.
Major process.
Yes, yes.
And I want to show this. Brian don't like bullshit plate.
No.
Brian likes like the urethane iron grip plate and things like that. So Brian never wanted, Stephen, what do you got? After he got to a certain point, what I got the cheapest. Brian's like, what do I got that's gonna last,
and
that looks good?
Yes.
And honestly, Brian, at this point, you don't have much breakdowns.
No.
That's something I don't know if we've talked about even in a video. I haven't seen one out of order sign or under maintenance on anything, but if it does, Brian, I know, is gonna fix it.
YouTube, University. The girls call this the farm equipment. Free weight as well. All this red equipment over here. So the same thing, got it from him as well. He had this package, I saw the color, jumped on it. He said, I think I got something for you. I went to the warehouse, checked it out, jumped on it.
Actually, he's like, I gotta have it. He didn't even know price.
Yes. This probably is the one piece circuit that I've had for the longest, actually. It is, this right here. Yep.
And then let's walk over here. And then Brian, what I want you to do, I want you to talk about this huge floor space.
Yes, yes.
Let you film.
I'm sorry. This is a spin room, and this is activated on a screen. So the bikes actually have the avatars on the screen when they're doing the spin. So they can see their calorie count, avatars, they're racing each other. So it's activated spin room. Now this is the section of knockout. So I brought this from the mall area, decided to utilize the back room as a temporary spot for knockout fitness. So this area locked out, they can get in through this way, but they can't get in through this way. So this is knockout fitness. This is knockout fitness, the temporary spot for knockout fitness. Same thing, we have the bags, we have the impact rack. So as they're hitting the bag, the harder you hit the bag, how often you hit the bag, it actually shows up on the screen. So it gives you an idea of what your power and hit rate are on the bags, plain and simple. And this is an open gym too as well. So you're able to come in here when the classes are not going on and do open gym work.
And there's a separate entrance right here from the gym.
Separate.
So over here, we're going to the Selectorize. We done all Life Fitness Signature. Brian has every single piece and more. Just so everybody knows, this was all used equipment when we put this in that literally still almost looks brand new. The only thing, Brian, that I know, I was gonna say, you put new upholstery on some.
Yep.
You usually, Brian, would use the upholstery on it and then reupholster a little at a time.
Yes.
To now it's pretty much all uniform.
Yes.
So I wanna basically tell a lot of gym owners,
each one of these, you're looking at roughly $99 each one. So I gotta take, okay, I wanna do this piece This piece is $200, you know what I'm saying, just for that piece. I want to do them all at one time, but the money is not there to do it all at one time. So it's just a matter of trying to figure out what I want to do, what's priority, and run from there with it.
Don't spend money foolishly.
Yes.
If the pads on it are black, for instance, I know we always wanted red, but make sure you utilize those, and then in 6 months or whenever they start ripping, then go red.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Here's the main thing I want people to see at this gym, and this is this huge area right here. So, Brian, I'll let you talk about a little bit. Brian is military, and so Brian started doing these boot camps, and I remember he would be outdoors, and Brian would be telling me he's got 10 people coming to the class, 20 people coming to the class. Years later, when Brian moved in here, 30,000 square foot, I thought he was crazy. And I'm like, Brian, how many square foot are you doing? Well, Brian, 100 people showing up per boot camp?
75-ish showing up. This was pre-COVID.
COVID, how many people are showing up?
During COVID?
Yeah.
Well, during COVID, we had the doors locked, so we had to be outside. So we were looking at, once we finally got everybody back into the building or back outside to work out, roughly 50-ish, 60-ish, you know what I'm saying, people.
And how many times a day?
1, 2, 4 times a day. Yeah.
So when I tell people...
This how the whole piece got started, man.
Yeah.
So I started everything with the boot camp to get the membership, to get the facility. So it was all, everything came from the boot camp. The boot camp generated the funds for me moving from across the street over here and the equipment as well. So I tried to stay away from loans and everything else like that.
Yeah, this man, so everybody knows, yes, he had military and stuff like that, but this man was, you know, bringing in $5,000, $10,000, whatever the number is, taking that money, investing back in the business, taking that money time and time again. So make sure everybody knows in this video that you can make it happen even without financial assistance if you're willing to put in the work, and it's not going to happen overnight. It does take, I always tell people this story, and I've told Brian this many times, Super Fitness Gym was a 10-year journey of almost losing money, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yes.
Brian's known me a long time. Me or him is no overnight success. So anybody that's watching this video in our town, I want them to see two guys supporting one another, but also that it's not been an easy road. So if you see, we always joke around, if you see Brian pull up in his jacked up pickup truck, or me pull up in my jacked up pickup truck, it wasn't just funds that were created from necessarily the gym. It was hard work. Don't judge my chapter or Brian's chapter 40 on your chapter 3.
Yep.
Because it's
Totally different.
totally different.
Totally freaking different.
Yeah. So guys, at the start of the video, I said that I want this video to be about Brian and his gym, but I also want it to be about Brian and his background, his military background, our relationship, and things like that. So I'm gonna hand it over to Brian, let him tell you a little bit about his past, and Brian, tell us why Complete Fitness started or why you got into this at all.
And I am from Long Island, New York. Certified personal trainer, certified group instructor, master fitness instructor, U.S. Army. I've always wanted to do fitness, always did fitness. When I came to Burlington, I was stationed in Fort Bragg. Assigned to Burlington as the recruiting. I started training here next door what used to be the Rush Gym. The Rush Gym was next door.
I remember.
The individuals I trained there, they didn't like the atmosphere at all. So the women didn't like the atmosphere. And I had individuals that were asking me like, why don't you start your own location?
And is this, Brian, shortly after the Rush when I met you at my own gym? When did you come to Super Fitness?
Right when I got here.
Okay.
So when I first got here, we were given the opportunity to use the YMCA for free.
Yeah, I remember you telling me. Yeah.
That was good. Went to your gym, liked it. I talked to you.
I remember.
Clicked, and from that day, man, we're talking 2-3 fucking hours a day. You know what I'm saying? So it was a great thing. And then I found out that you also sold equipment, and I was looking at doing a gym.
And the funny thing is, when he approached me one day, I didn't have a lot of storage room, and I had a couple spots, but I would used to, at the front of the gym that day when you approached me, I would have equipment that I was kind of selling or moving to the storage spot till I got room. So Brian said, what are you doing with these Stairmasters? I think it was. And I said, oh, I'm gonna refurbish them and sell them. And that's kind of how the equipment started.
Yes. So long story short, I found this location over here, across the street, 900 something square feet.
I was gonna say 1,000.
Yeah, right at it. Nervous as shit, man. I'm sitting at the table about to sign the lease, and I'm like, where you getting this money from to sign this? You know what I'm saying? Took a leap of faith. I had 12 clients at the time.
There's not a lot of funds backing him, right?
No.
No bank loan.
No, none.
Yeah, so I want to tell everybody something that's in a hard spot. Like, it can be done if you're not willing to quit. And I used to preach to him, I'm like, listen, if you go forward with this, there's no turning back.
No.
But I knew from his military, I'm like, their mind is geared just like mine, even though I'm not military. They're fighters, they're not gonna quit. So I knew he'd be okay, but I just wanted him to believe in himself.
It was a lot of yogurt and bologna, a lot of it. It was a tough freaking journey, man. I had 3 medicine balls, that bullshit
Crossover. Orange cones, I remember.
And a treadmill.
Crazy.
And made it happen, man. Personal training. I had first boot camp. I think I had 5 people in it. I was one of the people in it. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, man. And that transition, word of mouth, spread. You know what I'm saying?
Like wildfire. I would
man.
hear people talk about Brian at my gym, and I was like, yeah, I know him. Like, he's doing these boot camps or whatever. And at that point in time, me and Brian's become closer friends.
Real cool.
And you know, I'm rooting for him, but I'm honestly like, can't believe like how many people, and Brian's like, I felt like almost like a child, like growing like a weed fast.
Yes.
But it was because he was being very relentless.
Yes.
And so Brian, at that point, you only got 5 people. Where was your mindset at that point as far as like, was you seeing it and or are you thinking, man, I should have 20 people? Like, cause you know, when you're in the trenches like that, you sometimes wonder if you went to the Rush, which is our old Gold's gym, a huge gym, you're thinking, why don't I have 100 people there?
True.
So where was your mindset at?
I'm not from here. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that had to do with that. You know what I'm saying? And I continued pushing, man. You know what I'm saying? I continued pushing, didn't stop. Late nights, early freaking mornings. You know what I'm saying? I continued on. And word of mouth. Word of mouth is huge, bro. And especially when they're seeing the results, they're seeing everything happening, and they tell their friends come, you know what I'm saying? And I tried to keep everything as low as possible, so I didn't do no social media. So I kept everything low, and somebody said, dude, get on social media.
I remember.
And I was trying to keep it, the atmosphere of it being a women's own gym, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A women's only gym. So I was trying not to post pictures, you know what I'm saying, to not do that.
I remember.
They were comfortable with it, you know what I'm saying? They just weren't comfortable at another location.
Sure.
The whole premise of this was to have a location whereby individuals can work out, no makeup, however they want to, atmosphere, work out with the same type of equipment and everything that any box gym has, and be able to transition out. Because many of them don't know how to do the equipment.
Sure.
So they won't touch the equipment because they don't know how to work the equipment.
Okay.
So if they're learning how to work the equipment, and I remember you telling me too, you said, Brian, I don't think they need 45-pound plates. I don't think they need 45. I wanted them to have the same thing they would have in a regular gym.
And as the video shows, he does have everything and more than some big box gyms.
Yes.
All the plate load. I used to think he was crazy. My guys, Bryce, for instance, would talk pure shit to Brian. He'd walk in and be like, what do you need today? And Brian, another plate load piece, like, you're an all women's gym, but hear me out. I do think that's what sets him apart. And that's what's made him successful. Tell them the transition when the success starts coming. You get the spot across the street that was maybe, what, 7,500 square feet?
75, right at 8,000.
Okay.
So 8,000 square feet roughly. This was a hospice store.
I remember.
30,000 square feet. And I give credit to the owner too, because the owner took a gamble as well.
Absolutely.
Because it was a corporation that was supposed to come here, a lumber corporation that was supposed to come here. And I was already here for like 7 years. And he asked me, he said, are you sure you can handle that? I said, dude, let me try, I will not drop the ball.
Sure.
He let me try, I did it. Everything was paid for. I had to pay for everything, so he didn't give me no help on nothing. Flooring, ceiling, nothing. I had to do everything by, you know what I'm saying, by the book, my way.
Sure.
So the monies I made across the street, I had to push into this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it transitioned, bro. And it was piece by piece, by piece, by piece. It is what it is, man.
Tell everybody, Brian, watching, the trials and tribulations of you running an all women's gym as a male, and tell them Brian wanted to keep the gym at $25 a month for an all women's gym. And I'm gonna go ahead and talk for Brian here just for a second of me being a gym owner of 17 going on 18 years, how difficult that is to be a mom and pop gym. So relay, Brian, some of those messages of the challenges you faced with this facility.
Tough decision. My overall thought was, we talked about this a while back, cutting the fat. Anytime any family talks about cutting fat, they look at what's not relevant. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be in that not relevant category. You know what I'm saying? So my mindset was keep everything low. It shouldn't cost you a car payment to get in shape.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It shouldn't. So my mindset was keep it low, so whereby it's not a hindrance. You know what I'm saying? So they're able to still work out, whatever the case. And that was my mindset. Reality, inflation, you know what I'm saying? Shit goes up as far as price. The landlord went up as far, you know what I'm saying?
10 AC units on the top of the roof.
10 AC units.
Brian calls me and is like, dude, my power bill is ridiculous. When you don't plan for these things, and honestly, these are unforeseen things that most people don't know. That's why I want people to hear this on the video that, so this man's rolling in members. Money's coming in the left and going right back out the right.
Right back out the right.
And a lot of people only see from the outside what they see, a car a man's driving, a home they're living in, but they don't really see what's happening within the business. So
even like the question of another bike or treadmill. Brian, we need 2 more bikes. They don't know the bikes cost $3,500. Like that's, those bikes are $35 a piece. Like that's not just go get a bike. You know what I'm saying? That is me thinking like, okay, what's priority? That bike, you know what I'm saying? Or me getting AC, you know what I'm saying? And it's, you're not gonna do everything. You're not gonna win every battle at all. And you gotta just sit back and accept the ones that you're not gonna win. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna catch it. You're gonna catch it both ways. You're always gonna catch it.
I wanna tell everybody this, and I preached this to Brian for over 10 years. Brian was doing a lot of personal training.
A lot.
And he used to walk in and I could see it in his eyes. His eyes would be bloodshot. I'd say, how you feeling? He's tired. He would set up every boot camp at 3 in the morning.
1:45 in the morning.
1:45, do it himself. And I remember 100 times over saying, Brian, you're gonna burn out. Brian, you're gonna burn out. I don't care how much money the gym's bringing in.
True.
You're gonna burn out. So Brian, talk for a minute about not just you personal training, but just the overall, you're here at 1:45 in the morning, leaving sometimes 10 p.m. at night. What did that do to you over the past 10 years?
It wasn't a burnout initially because I did 21 years in the Army.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that work to me was like normal work. After a while, it started, you know what I'm saying, burning me out. Because now I remember you talked about it as well too. Like you're making like $7 grand doing personal training. Bro, I would have a client, 30-minute break, client. You know what I'm saying? Back to back. Then I got the ones that come in early. So now I got a client waiting. She's 30 minutes later. They're waiting. You know what I'm saying? It was back to back, and I'm thinking in my head, okay, I got to get out of here, try to get to the house. Try to get to the house, and I'm getting right back up. That clock is going off at 1:45. You know what I'm saying? For me to set up, and those ladies are sitting in that parking lot at 4:30-ish. Waiting to get in the door. And that was every fucking day, you know what I'm saying? And now I got a daughter in the middle, you know what I'm saying? When my father ended up getting sick, ended up passing, it brought a different perspective over the whole process, man. Like,
people don't understand, this is real life of what a entrepreneur, really a manager sometimes of a business, when you love what you do, but you fight. A guy asked me the other day, Stephen, what makes you successful and what is your goals coming up? And I said, man, I really, truly just want to be a good father, a good husband first and foremost. And the business is, I love what I do, but I do fight cutting that switch off. I still don't know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it.
And me and Brian's talked about this many times. It's like, he is complete fitness. I am super fitness.
True.
And so for me, super fitness, honestly, was my first baby before I got married. Before I had children.
Complete was mine.
And so I know he relates to me. So I want people to realize, sometimes you got to make sacrifices, but don't make it as a sacrifice to where you're going to sacrifice your child, your father,
Yes.
whatever. My wife's
Yes.
father passed away a little over a year ago, and Brian was going through a lot at the time.
Yes.
You know, with this gym and family, and me and him would talk, and we're kind of going through the same thing. And I would always, I relate to him in the fact that it is hard when you can't predict these challenges
True.
or these financial events
True.
that a lot of people don't know. My wife's having to fly in other states paying at her own expense. Brian facing financial challenges that had nothing to do with this gym, but with family.
True.
And that's what makes it very difficult for a business. But so Brian, do you think your military background as a whole is what made Complete Fitness successful?
Oh, big time, big
Okay.
time. I tried to push a lot of what I did from the military into this. I try to get in, I try to do my job, personal training, which I've cut, the boot camps, and out the door. Hit me up if I need supplies, whatever the case. Outside of that, man, I'll try to get out, stay out. You know what I'm saying? My goal was to have this operated by women
Yep.
and used by women, first and foremost.
Mine and Brian's relationship. So we're two dudes, same town. He's still a member of my gym who support one another. And so I want to tell people this: you can operate the same business and be friends with the competition.
Yes. Yes.
And in reality, we're not competition.
No.
I have tons of men at my gym that their wife comes here,
Yes.
or I send them literally here.
And vice versa. Like it's no different, man. I referred individuals, like a lot of my front staff works with one of his trainers. So I worked with his trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
That I hooked Brian up with.
Yes, great dude, great dude. I have no problem sending my individuals over there. You know what I'm saying? It's once a gym owner or a trainer has an issue with somebody else going somewhere else, the goal was never about the client.
I agree.
At all. I have people right now, brothers, not here right now, that I still support. I give them the bicep on Facebook.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
We were friends previous. We're still friends though. You know what I'm saying?
And I want to say this, I told Brian this the other day, I've never offered childcare at my gym, and I have friends who've never came to my gym who I love that would totally support my gym and send me business, but it's never came because they went to
Yes.
Gold's Gym, for instance, they needed childcare.
Yes.
So you can still be friends, and you should never be butthurt
No.
that someone else, there's plenty of competition, and I'll reference this. AutoZone Advanced are typically right beside each other.
Yes.
But there's plenty of business to go around.
Yes.
Me or Brian, we're two gyms with 20 more in a 3-mile radius,
Yes.
whether it be studio,
Yes.
other type boot
Yes,
camps,
yes.
or big gyms.
Yes.
Plenty of business to go around. Brian, you're my homeboy. I appreciate you letting this video. I'm proud of you first and foremost.
Thank you.
And thank you for letting us do it.
Thanks, bro.
Proud of you, man.
There you go.